Gotta turn off the script trigger. This has an error rate somehow. Duskit probably just went down for a brief amount of time. Do I have to update anything else? Alright, we got a 15-point lead. What's all this? CMP lovers have made up the gap. There's 5 minutes to go. I've seen a push for keys from CMP lovers. They've gotten a lot of invert keys in the last hour. All this stuff counts. Slightly more active team. Make up for the one challenge difference. It's 20 points to the team that gets more of them in the entire week. Same thing goes for every other key type. Yeah, when there are these notes in the corner, you can look up how much it's worth, or how much it's not worth. I'll have to update the chat messages. Who's grinding? Phantom Matt. Camel doing 2x finally. Actually, that's not the same one. That's probably Pacifist. Vanamat is quite a bit behind Maybetta on Echo Love. I don't think that's one of the levels for them though. No. Mostly fishy world records again. But this time with an Uckies in there. Cal still got the low dash. Incoming update. We see another invert key was earned by somebody. I know Arb already had all 6 of them. Oh my god, CMP haters are in the lead. What's going on now? Well, there's a wood key difference. The swing. Uh-oh. Who got a wood key? Well, maybe that was Phantom Matt. Did Phantom Matt clutch? 45 seconds to go. Got Matt and Miles get wood keys? Well, it might win you the week. Hey, it's down to the wire. This is the closest week yet. Gonna update 2 more times. Alright, there's the time limit, hitting the update button. It says it's still going. There it is, 7 seconds extra. Looks like that one wood key, it was enough. Oh my god. Read only mode. Oh man. Why is this in read only mode? Alright, I gotta unhide a few things. Change the week number to 3 so it doesn't do anything crazy. The last minute, I thought CMP Lovers was gonna have it, but Phantom Matt and Miles got a wood key. They got 2 wood keys.
I got 3 wood keys. I don't know.
3 wood keys.
I got into silver. What? The lowest to silver at the end of last minute.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I
It
gave
really
up
did
my
come down to that.
I gave up my rivalry to Beta in the last 3 minutes to go do that.
It really did come down to that. So each key type is 20 points to whichever team gets more of that key type. So if you didn't get 1 wood key, that'd be minus 20 points. And then if you didn't get another wood key, that's plus 20 points to the other team. So you didn't need 2 of them, it turns out, but one was enough, but that second one clinched it.
Look, we have the double tap, man.
Yep.
No, we
Got the double
actually
tap.
were sitting at 92 right before that. So
You were. Yeah.
we did need 2. But the third one is appreciated.
Alright. I'm gonna do my stuff. Alright. Fill out a best map of the week form. Vote for your favorite maps. I'm gonna post that we're doing the recap one more time. And announce the winner. At haters. Put some flavor text in there. $317 to $292. There you go. The flavor text.
Nice.
Yeah, gotta blame map making. Team map making. This was the closest final hour we've ever had. The runner-up would be the ending of DLC 3, where Custom Custodians took it within the final hours, and they were just in second place for the entire DLC 3. But yeah, good week. Let's see what happened. Remove Discord. Everybody fill out the poll while I do this stuff. The unhiding of replays on Dust Kid. Enjoy some Epon music as I idle in Simon's map. Alright, close that. I don't think I need this open anymore. Oh, I was gonna tally chat messages. So,
Secret. Super.
yeah, we have chat messages tracked now. Which is as easy as me going to the channels and being like, how many are over here? $537. $983.
All right.
Gosh, I wonder who won that.
Surprise, the numbers have been flipped this entire time.
Yep. Well, one team was more active than the other, but the haters tied con site frame. That was
True.
the true goal. When's Mafia? Good question.
I don't know.
Maybe
It's
this
like we
week.
have 2 days off. Yeah.
A little more than that, actually. We are going to have a break week after all. That's the big announcement for today. I'm gonna put that in announcements kind of soon too. Just give me a moment. I'll put that in the announcements after the recap. But we are starting a break week, so enjoy your pull-up emojis. But basically, it should help with the pacing a bit, and it'll give a little more time for some more quality map making. Because people have liked the map so far, and we might as well keep polishing the maps for weeks 3 and 4. Not a bad excuse to buy a little more time and reconsider a few other DLC 5 things that I kind of wanted to change. But if I change anything, it'll be announced, and nothing big's gonna change. It might just be like a little schedule change. You know, maybe I'll have team maps released on Friday. You know, something like that. Something small.
I mean, it'd probably help out a lot with people who aren't able to play on the weekend itself, maybe. Or
Yeah.
like vice versa.
I mean, I like the staggering, but the pacing just doesn't feel right. But we'll do something interesting this week. Hopefully, if I can get it together. Chat messages are not points, it's just here for fun. These other stats are non-scoring, so team size, you don't get points for having a bigger team. You do get points for earning more keys, but the team with fewer members that submitted replays actually got more keys. Well, technically, the team with 19 got 95 keys total, because, you know, they carry over. But, well, no, if you add wood keys and inverts, then the 18 size. The lovers got it. So, different metrics for however you want to interpret it, I guess. Um, Streamer
That
mode
doesn't make
shortening
sense,
names is
Lisa.
weird.
If you were Dumbledore, you'd give the most popular team more points because they have the protagonist. It happens every year that they get the House Cup. It stopped mattering.
Alright, some slightly less intense music. Actually, I should show off the leaderboard sheet. This is just wrong. Sorry, I'm still getting used to third monitor again. I don't usually stream this way.
There's too much information, sensory overload.
It's been over 2 years since I've had a third monitor.
What made you get another one back?
This one was $5, and it came with a $5 sticker on the screen. You know, just stuck on the screen in the corner. $5.
I mean,
And I got it for
how
free.
big's the monitor? Basically, yeah.
It's a pretty good
something like that.
monitor for $5 that I got for free.
I mean, you could get some solid and get the sticker off, probably.
I already took care of the sticker. It was just really funny
Oh,
that
that's
it
cool.
had a big $5 sticker on the screen. Alright. Who were the big winners this week? We got all the main leaderboard points. Fishy, no surprise there. Wazzy's really close to Arb. That's pretty impressive. Lucky's did some work at the end of the week. It has a big silver too, but got in the red rankings. 4 red keys, so it gets you there. Or I think 5 gold 3s would do it too. But 5 people with a lot of red keys. A few levels had easier reds than others. There were 2 that only had 2 people earn the red keys on for Fishy and Arb. Very tough on those levels, I guess. But that's what they're supposed to be this DLC.
Yeah, Nazara in particular was pretty rough.
I was tempted to have Nazara's lower also. Like it was almost gonna be 31.5, and I was just like, nah, I'll make it 32. Because
It will be a benevolent god.
like
this
I'll
time.
see what you guys did, but I was doing okay pretty early with when I was testing it, and I was like, yeah, I could probably get low 31. I wonder if someone will get sub 31. But it didn't get pushed that hard at the top, so it wasn't really as necessary to grind. I'm sure if there were a bigger fight for it, it would have gotten pushed lower. The big rival wins. Rodent this time, winning 3-2 over Issa with a little revenge. Scored 1 more point over Issa on a key as well. Also got the apples. How many people got all the invert keys? Scroll down. We had 4 people get all the invert keys. A-Boss, Arb, Fishy, and Cal with the streak. Foxy and Rodent have the apple. Skyhawk's got the apple streak. Sure. In the side leaderboards, we got Fishy and Cal both tied for 8 points over both of them. 1 first, 1 fourth. 1 first, 1 third.
I don't think you get points for appling, right? It's just tracked.
You don't, it's just counted.
Okay.
Apples actually aren't scored. However, there was a challenge on the Apple SS leaderboard this time, on a particularly funny one.
Yeah, that was
But I'm
that
sure
was
they
fun.
enjoyed very much. Big 10 points to Fishy on that Apple win. Alright, is Obius right this time? Seems like it.
You're in Dust Force.
Yeah, I don't know why, last time it didn't transition correctly. Okay. Well, let's start with the big level of the week, the #1 level. First level of the week's always going to be a little bit longer. You know, just a little. We're in the low 30s this time. Last time it was the higher 30s. But the other maps were a little longer, other than Equilove. Oh, I can move that. Alright. For here we had sub 34 was gold 1. This was a very rarely achieved gold. It was a pretty tough level. This is where we had a big spike in difficulty, which was neat to see. So I hope people enjoyed the harder levels, the ones with spikes. Seemed like it went over pretty well. Made people work for their points. Alright, so yeah, 34. I remember Delo had a kind of early start on this map. He got 34 kind of early. Let's watch a few lower times, because this one has a bigger spread. Not a big grind from Idle here. It is a harder map. If anyone has any replays that they want me to watch on any levels, they should say so. Otherwise, I'm just gonna click around kind of randomly. Were there any challenges on this one? I don't think so. I'm just double checking the challenge list. There were 2 rivalries. One played this one. This one just had the side leaderboard challenge. Alright. Okay, I kind of know what I'm doing now. It's been enough. Let's watch a Callistus run. Callistus not actually on a team, so didn't get to share strats with anybody. It's a good idea of, you know, not as grinded, but a more casual kind of run. Callistus, known casual player, apparently.
It's pretty smooth for not having anybody else's strengths.
Yeah, refined enough. Still worth a silver in the books. Even if you're not on a team, you still can earn keys and all that. I wonder what Indipop did. Indipop was also not on a team. Highest scoring player without a team this week. Decided to boost at the beginning. It's kind of neat to have a few replays to watch from people that weren't on a team, because they didn't get any help. And they're actually different compared to these 2 really large teams. Or there's not that much different going on. Alright, quite a bit smoother. Let's jump up into the top 10. We see a bit of character variety. So this one I definitely expected to be a worth favored level from the start. And you know, this was certainly the week of worths compared to last week, which I think there was only 1 worth record and that one was tied, right?
A worthwhile week, you
Yeah,
mean?
it was. I believe it was Reclamation Layer. That,
Yeah, I don't think there was another worst record though.
yeah.
But this time we had at least a man record in here somewhere. Yeah, memorably blue. That was a little boosty.
If worst time I ended up best on that one, I don't know what to say.
Tess and Epon on opposite teams. See what differences they have. Arb, did you do both characters on this one?
Yeah,
counts?
the Man and War tasks are both published. Yeah.
Cool.
You have to filter because it only shows the faster one.
The first two levels this week, this one and Memorably Blue were the two that I played the most before they came out, obviously. Those are the two I tested more this week. So I at least know the strats on these maps. And there's some cool ones. There's some good ideas out there. Some unique parts of gameplay too. This level has a very different kind of flow to it.
Interesting to see how far behind Worth is at this point. I'm wondering where exactly it's gonna get caught up. Which is right there, actually.
Good timing. Good timing.
Yep.
I
But
have
that is
this-
also a 1 second difference between those runs. JVC and Dell use pretty similar strats from what I heard.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of work on this map like really early on in the week.
Yeah. We'll probably see something a little unique. Or at least we will soon. I occasionally check out the strat videos that people post in their teams. Alright, pretty safe.
Yep.
Clean. Not as clean as Duck's though. Maybe. Unless the Duck made a mistake.
I don't know. This, I believe, was actually done today.
Yeah, Duck played the
Well,
levels
this
pretty
was
late.
something.
He is quite a bit behind. There's a spike jump. Slowly
You know-
catching up.
Honestly, I never even thought to use that thing, but it would probably be like a frame faster or something, right? So,
Cleaner that section. Doing the side heavy that Girl can do. Unfortunate for Man over there. But even easier for Worth.
Lesbian plant with the frame time.
Plant and Wazi frame tying each other in gold 3. But still needed over half a second to get that red key. A little bit more difficult of an ending for Worth to line up as well.
Yep.
It's a little more
There
awkward.
are- Yeah, it's. I mean, the boost speed is kind of strange, and of course, the attack is so huge. Jumps are also just a little too high, but it does work out well enough.
Alright, plan doing that strat. Going back and forth a bit with Wazi the whole way. Just heavy. Doing the light heavy in that order. And despite being farther back, did not lose as much time at the end. Did a side heavy. So that's quite a difference.
Actually, pretty drastically different replays. You're being honest.
Yeah. Alright, Arb in the lead. This is what a red key requires. Okay, different kinds of jumps there. We see a different end room order. I'm told this saves 0.2. Is that what it was?
I think in initial testing that's what JVC and Dello had found, but in
Or at least for man.
for man maybe. For Worth it's like 0.1. It's
Oh.
not much. It's somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2.
Is she losing a little time to the different climb? Got a little ceiling boost there. Different climb again, a little bit below. And then actually saving time with that ending.
Probably just did it badly now.
A little execution difference right there.
Sure. I mean, I actually was just ahead and then lost all the time there.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, you're that although you did have a different strat there, it did just look like it wasn't as fast as it could have been.
Yeah.
That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes people they'll copy the cleaner looking worse strats just because even if you try to do the faster thing, you didn't execute it just right enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they
Admittedly, that
copy
was
the hard.
very.
Then they copy the wrong thing.
Yeah, admittedly, that was not very well practiced. You know.
And in my opinion, that's
Okay.
happened twice so far this DLC, with people copying Worth on certain levels, such as Reclamation Layer. People copying Worth on that may have backfired a little in the long run. We have a cool apple secret in this level. I'm not
This
gonna
one
show a
was wonderful.
replay, but go find the apples if you haven't. You'll have
This
to.
is a wonderful apple.
Yeah, you'll have to go over here a little bit, a little spoiler, and then if you hit them a certain way, things happen. But what if you couldn't dash anymore?
What's the point of
right?
living then?
Actually, I'll watch
Usually-
I'll watch the task first before we go. into
Which
that.
one do you want to watch? Which one do you want to watch first? Because it shows Worth here.
I'm just watching the man one first. All right, good speed. So that down dash, that is a trick only for man.
Yeah, Worth cannot get low enough there to avoid dying.
You see the more optimized room right there. That's a really hard heavy to hit.
Jeez, man.
And Man is just moving too fast in the end room for the side heavy to be of any benefit.
Man stuck.
He'll be fine.
Where's that man ghost going?
What a climb.
All right, 29.4. All right, now that we've gone sufficiently fast, let's go a little slower.
Right.
How many of these people did low dash on this list? Wazzy did this 29 minutes ago. I think this is a good one to watch. Wazzy on blast a little bit. Wazzy tried it out.
Yeah, can't fault him for that. Oh, hi, was he?
Even worse. Apparently, this was in the last minute.
This was 11th place. Alright, slowing down a little. I'm not advised. But I like to show the struggles. It's always fun to watch some different replays. You know, how do you beat certain parts of this level without dashing? Some parts are pretty straightforward, like that climb. But then, how do you really go fast on these other parts? No dash isn't something that we do often in DLC because it usually isn't a great fit for levels. You know, sometimes the levels just they don't really make sense. Yeah, dying always forces a ghost to show up, which is appropriate.
Yeah, makes sense, especially for the month of October.
Yeah, it really does make sense.
Unintentional, but not something
Not
that has
at
been
all.
fixed in a long time. That might be the only man run. No, Foxy's is man also. Let's check out Foxy's.
Yeah, well, woo.
Yeah, 11th place.
Unfortunately, not quite counting the sideboard points.
Only top 10 counts.
It would have been really funny if like 10th place was just a run with like one dash in it or something.
Well, there were 10 SSs, so we couldn't have done it this time, but there is no limitation for side leaderboards for that kind of thing.
Right.
For invert keys, we require like 0 dash, that kind of thing. But for side leaderboards, it's just the leaderboard. Whoever's on the leaderboard is there. Alright. Alright. And we had a challenge between Holy Cow and A Boss. So I'm just gonna watch those two. The two people
Those
that
two were
grinded
going,
it.
They were going at it the entire week.
Oh yeah. This was worth
That was
20
especially-
points also, so everything mattered and in the end. This contributed. If it weren't for this, then it could have gone the other way. A lot of similar strats in the climb area. Cool boost there.
Oh.
I don't remember seeing Cow do that.
I don't know. I mean, Cal did mention that he found his time save like on his most recent replay, so maybe. I haven't seen it yet.
I got to see some late night cow grinding in the CMP Haters channel. Not much CMP Lover voice channel action this week. I was a little disappointed, didn't get to hang out with them. Too busy playing CMP, perhaps. And that's why they didn't win. Look how the big lead at the start. A lot of similarities between them, but some important differences.
I actually don't know what the time save he found was. I'll have to look back at that again.
It was execution.
He got good.
Yep.
Maybe.
He pressed the dash button and didn't tell anybody.
You just didn't see it.
Yep. The secret
Low percent was the invert key here. Mods built in bow display. Nice, that just updates. Almost. So the minimum was 10 dust. We see a distinct difference between certain runs. I guess there are only 10.
Oh, all right.
But Camel with the not in death warp.
Nice. Yeah, Najik and Della were working on this early in the week.
There were a couple little puzzles to figure out here. This first dust in the level being the hardest one. Is Cow in the chat? Yeah. Cow, did you happen to figure out how to do this as non-kid? I posed that challenge to Cow earlier. I'll show it off later, for those curious. But it turns out this is possible without kid. But pretty tough.
There's that death warp you guys are talking about.
Yeah. So this was a challenge for routing and for, well, execution. Let's see what Najik did. Simon, did I tell you the secret to low percent for non-kid? Alright, well, you have until I show off the record for inward key. I did show you, okay. I'll show it off briefly when we're done this one. So you got like another minute or two.
I'm curious if it's different from what I thought it was.
And if you don't want spoilers, then just hide the screen when I say so.
We'll be extra vague with our commentary. We'll just go, "Wow! Oh my God! So cool!"
Yeah, just pause the stream and we'll tell you in chat when to look again. It can be your break week challenge. But I'll say when the spoilers start. But not a real leaderboard. I don't know why I'm watching too many of these. We're just hanging out.
Look, it's alright to take it easy once in a while.
Yeah. Remembering not to hit the dust blocks is very important in low percent.
Right.
Did anyone do that? Did anyone hit the dust blocks in low percent and just forget?
Nope.
Pretty similar stuff. I have ghosts off, so we don't really know. The fast death warp.
Ooh, okay, that was cool.
Can't believe we're murdering children for speed.
Oh, you did go through the top.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought more people were gonna go through the top. Alright, spoilers commence.
Yep. Everyone who cares about the forbidden tech, avert your ears and eyes. Maybe just eyes. I don't know.
Okay, so
Avert it.
it is on. You may have noticed that as kid you have an extra jump, so you can do stuff over here with, you know, you can slow down if you want to jump over this dust. But if you do it from a stop, it's not as easy as the short hop, which is also not even that easy. You know, that's how it's supposed to look. So you might be thinking, how do I do it? And again, if you don't want spoilers, then don't look at it. You might also think, what if I did a Jorf over here? Well, my question to you is, what's this gonna do for you if you did Jorf here? Other than a cool screenshot. Now, the second thing you might think of is, what if you did a dead leg? So there is a dead leg right here. And if you do the dead leg and you wall run, then you dash off the wall, you get the dust. That's too bad. So that's unfortunate. Okay, well I don't want to wall run. If I do the dead leg and I don't wall run though, then I'm gonna die. So that's unfortunate too. But what if I did the dead leg? And then I let go of the wall by hitting right. And then I dash off the wall. And that is the answer.
Yep.
So you have to hit the dead leg. And when you're falling against a wall, this is something that everybody's done before. But they don't really think too much about it. So you're sliding down the wall. You could be going as fast down the wall as you want, but if you let go of the wall and just hit right, then you just stop.
Yeah, Simon, it is not easy.
Alright. You guys can at Cow in chat, please, and tell them spoilers are over.
That's interesting.
Everybody at Cow. Oh, he was paying attention. Couldn't resist.
The temptation. He needed the knowledge.
Alright, well then at Cow and tell him he missed out on free points that weren't actually gonna exist. They were free make-believe points.
Right.
I could have awarded him 1 point. Which I only would have awarded if it didn't tip the balance. But that is Simon's level, so shoutouts to Simon for a cool level.
That was a very good level. I enjoyed what I saw of it.
Let's go fast.
Yeah.
Let's go really fast.
Oh baby!
Let's
This
skip to the
was-
action. So
I swear, doing
Memorably
this
Blue
opened like
by
the third
Uckies. I just on a whim was like, you know what? Let's just do 2x on a level, and this worked out. Most people played Worth, I see. I was doing this as Man. It took a little bit of getting the hang of how 2x works. And, well, the game's gonna look a little slower after this, but it's okay because it's a boost level.
Yeah, it is very weird going from 2x to back to normal gameplay. Even if you weren't playing 2x for very long.
Oh, almost got a clean run. But basically the point of this invert key was no major mistakes. So just, you gotta beat it without stopping, pretty much.
I'll
Which is a
also point
challenge.
out when I did this run, it was before I knew how to do the big slide. Because that's something I learned this week. In fact, I think this was the first day that the map had come out.
Probably.
It was that or the day after? 'Cause I remember being in voice chat while you were talking about how weird it was going back to normal.
This looks pretty similar to what I did. Although I didn't go to that wall. I just went for it. I don't know what my PB was, but, you know, I got sub 10. I was like, this is good.
Whew.
Didn't take too long. It was an approachable invert key, like the 2 team maps, which I found very appropriate. What are the man and girl ones? Big Diesel's the only girl that did it. We'll watch those ones, then we'll skip to the Worth kid. Not hitting anything early by Cow. A little off camera. Some of you may have realized that 2x does not increase the camera speed. A little unfortunate.
Yeah, it gets particularly silly with very large boosts like the ones on this map.
Yeah. You get the full 2x experience here. If you want to push it.
Who did make this map?
I don't know. Let's watch some words.
That's a genuine question, though. I can't remember.
Oh, you okay? No.
Yeah, this map went through very little revision, actually. Aki's made a first draft, and then I made a handful of changes. I kind of squished things together. Then Aki's adjusted it again, and then I probably made a couple final adjustments. That was it. But this is very close to the first draft that Aki's made. I wonder how much time Aki's even spent on it. Skip a little bit. Save 10 seconds. Let's see what Fishy did as kid. Gotta press that jump button.
I'm excited to see this. And the child's off to the races. My God.
Holy.
Oh man.
And he's gone. He's just gone, dude.
Let's
gotta
check
love
out that one
2x.
again.
Gotta love 2x.
Run that back.
Probably more impressive than JVC's, but JVC is the 2x master, who unfortunately did not have a competition with Camel. Camel couldn't manage to do it. Beating Fishy by the big heavy. Just do twice
Yeah,
as many
but-
dashes.
Yeah.
And you'll be
I
fine.
don't know. We could
it's funny.
see we could see Worth the entire time. I don't think this should count.
It's funny that you say that, Simon, because like if you look back at the 2x challenge from DLC 4, that basically is what happened. Not quite as pushed here, but it can get pretty silly.
That's the wrong name. Alright, so these replays are public, so we a moment of silence for our fallen ASs since those showed up. Let's see. Right here we got a lot of red keys. We got 13 of them. I Heart Cake getting sub 14. Duck giving up before sub 14. Was streaming when he said something along the lines of, you know, like, were you gonna, what do you say? Like, no big reason to go for sub 14. Yeah, sub 14 was red key. Turns out. that was the whole point he missed out on.
Could have been the great equalizer.
Yep. Wouldn't have made the difference, but Mr. Red Key by 2 frames. Gold was 14.75. So here's a glass replay. Very straightforward level. This one was all about the execution. That's why replays were visible. I remember seeing Quantum Coral grinded this a lot in their channel.
Yeah, Quantum tends to pick a map to just grind extremely long on, and this happened to be that map. We got a pretty good run early on, and then we found a way to save some time, so we went back to it for a bit.
Oh, pardon me.
From what I remember seeing, the route that the world record is basically what I was doing too. I didn't grind it for as low, but I was kind of back and forth between if I should make 13.75 and 14 the red 1 tier. You know, could have gone either way. Because I'd played it enough, it was a little hard to judge. Like, how hard is this really? But it turns out it was easy enough, I guess, at 14. But not for Duck. You probably didn't even know that replays are visible on the map. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done these strats.
That one's on me, because I ended up telling him the replays were visible here, like, after he finished grinding it. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that, whoops.
How can you tell if replays are visible? Is that what you're asking? Well, it's in the announcements, and it's in the leaderboard summary. And if you click a replay and you can watch it, they're visible. That's how you can tell.
You don't tell, you're told.
Well, if your internet goes down, then it's probably not visible after all.
I think you have a bigger problem than a replay if your internet goes down.
That just means that the hacker man's got the music.
Yep. Visible, but not to you.
The hacker man coming to collect your payment for WinRAR.
Yeah, the spy got the replay.
What a boost.
Steel Echo with a big grind on this level. Had record for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, early on, yeah, this was actually...
Yeah.
And
And Fishy clapped back. Getting a bigger boost. We're starting to see what adds up for these ghosts.
I do love how all the ghosts just like fly off to the end.
Into the abyss.
Oh, can I also say, so like, there's this whole thing with the ledge cancel versus mantle at the start, and like I have been confused the entire week as to how people are saving time on the ledge cancel. Because it's like a frame faster in TAS with like a perfect ledge cancel. So I don't know how people are saving time with it. It makes zero sense to me.
Top 3 on this level, all from CMP lovers. Wazzy flexing on a boost level.
Yeah,
Just
Idol,
2 frames off
that-
red 3 though, which Camel
Yeah.
got. Camel with the fancy but not really that much faster jump into the ceiling at the start.
Yeah, that ceiling boost have done perfectly. Saves like literally a frame. So
And that frame was not 1 frame enough.
nope. Well, it was for red 3.
Oh, well, that is true.
God,
Fishy
it's like I
doing-
took off my glasses.
I'm pretty sure Fishy did exactly what I did on this level. Let me watch that again. Yeah, I did the ledge cancel, not the mantle. This is exactly the route that I predicted. That doesn't usually happen much. Usually there are time saves.
Yeah, I am once again. I cannot reiterate enough how confused I was, seeing that people were saving time with the ledge cancel. But I don't know.
My thought process, without timing anything, because I wasn't using any task tools to time anything for making the keys, I was just like, I'll save an attack.
Yeah, no, I
that
mean
was
that's
it.
understandable, but like,
Yeah.
you know, and it is very close, but it's still like I don't know, man. I won't push any further on that.
We
I
do
would hope not.
have.
The week's over.
Yeah, you can keep pushing. We do have 2 Tasses. One from not Jake. Doing 2 dashes at the start. A little ADB. Was that timed?
I think Quantum had timed that as at least equal. I never tried it.
I saw it attempted by Quantum, and that was one of the things that I was thinking of doing. There was another strat idea that I had there, which is just jump twice for more height. Arb's task. Alright.
What a line.
We have some more task style strats here. I'll check out some of the unique things.
This was actually just full test.
Yeah, this
No,
one
no,
looks
no look at here.
this one looks a little different. So you can see there's barely over 522 from the ceiling boost. There should also be a ceiling boost here if done correctly. Looks like you bonk and then grab it. Was that intentional?
That is a setup for a following strat here.
All right. Same thing here. This must also be to set up the MHB.
There's all to get a last subframe raise transition to get a 1 subframe MHB.
I also experimented with what if you didn't do the light. Did you try see how much that time cost?
Which
The backlight right here in the corner. You know, just jump a little later.
It loses. It's like very barely slower if you get all the dust
Did you try an
just
LSJ?
by running of it. Not quite.
All right.
I just kind of assumed it would be too slow, because you actually don't really need height here much, and that's all the LSJ do. That's all doing the LSJ there would get you.
All right. Here we're setting up an RLJ, so just barely landing on the Jorf. Dash jumping left, then holding right on the next frame before you actually leave the Jorf to, to do the RLJ. Doing 2 quick attacks, positioning for an MHB. Don't worry about how those works. You know, not a big deal. Use the air charge to jump into the ceiling too.
Because it's one of those things where it just didn't line up to grab.
This must be pretty close. Alright,
Yeah, a bit
so
of
you
in-rise
slowed down.
shenanigans.
You get a corner wall jump for the wall jump speed, which is better than
And also
the spike jump speed.
Also additional height,
Yeah,
which lets
that
you
is
get
true.
the slope boost a little bit earlier.
And this is all pretty predictable. Probably got terminal velocity there barely.
There's an opportunity for another MHB at the end, but I think with the way it lines up, you gain like literally 1 speed, and you have to attack some ceiling dust before it, so you just lose time.
Cool.
But yeah, this
One more time at full
13.
speed.
Yep.
There goes Jake.
into the abyss.
Goodbye.
Alright. Nice and easy red 5.
Extremely doable strats. All very viable.
Look, as Aki said, intended strats right there.
Yep.
Yep. It is
Why
his
wasn't
map, so he
everybody
would know.
doing it? So apparently, I don't know how, but Beta and I frame tied for a while on this, on Electrotangle. Yeah, and then I broke it, and everyone was upset with me.
Who got the frame first? Was it you or Maybetta?
I was there first, then she got it.
Oh, and then they got mad at you for breaking it, even though you were already ahead of Maybetta on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
So you were just flexing.
Well, I didn't think that I thought that a tie would mean that it was just break even, and she had 2 on me at that point.
So there are no frame ties in DLC. Fun fact. Frame ties do not mean anything. So if 2 people end up with a frame tie, such as what is a good example from earlier? Wazzy and Quantum had a frame tie on the previous level, but 3rd and 4th happened to be worth the same number of points, coincidentally. Whoever gets it first gets, they're the one that gets it. Actually, there was a frame tie for world record last week on Reclamation Layer.
Yeah, between Fishy and Quantum.
Yeah, so Fishy got the points for world record. Quantum did not. Quantum got 2nd place because Fishy got it first. That's how frame ties work. That's how it looks on the leaderboard too. Big 2 next to Basement Dweller. This is the only time that really is the case in our community, so we have a little fun with it. Make people fight over frame ties. Alright, Electro Tangle. Only 2 red keys were earned. 2 at the top here.
Rather surprisingly, I think, actually.
Yeah, very rough 19.25. Is Camel in chat? Camel holding out on strats on this level. His team doesn't even know they could have gotten sub 19. They could have had 2 red keys here. But Camel, the one that made this level. I didn't think it was going to be as rarely achieved for a red key personally. It looked pretty believable to me, but
yeah, this was surprising.
Tough level. A lot of golds though. So 21 seconds was required for gold 1. So let's see. Let's check out a big diesel run. Yeah, Della with big 3rd place. Ucky's played this 5 minutes before the end, so let's see what Ucky's could do in 5 minutes. Oh, Della with a 6-frame ledge cancel. After all these years, it's finally happening.
It's an old wives' tale told around the kitchen table back in the home country.
Issa with 9th place. Winning over Rodin on this level. Hugging the right wall. Saving an attack there, but maybe the jump could have been more useful for the extra climbing. Game Duck with the late day grinding.
Also playing men.
Yeah. I did think there was gonna be a little more man action here, but DLC is a little predictable. Once people start playing a character, usually everybody plays that character. Once people catch a hint of Worth, they're like, "Uh oh, it's a Worth level. Gotta get on that train."
Yep.
And then everyone posts Worth WW.
I can't believe we're all sheep.
Dev 2000 was a good showing here.
Yo, let's go, Dev.
I thought he was gonna do a different strat for a moment there with that down dash. cleaner version of very similar strats, despite being on different teams. Plant hugging the right side there. An extra dash at the end. Wazi in the 19s.
Breaking the second barrier.
I like how in DLC 5 that's usually worth a point.
Yeah.
I tried to pay attention to that for, that's one of the reasons why keys are the way they are. I want them to be attached to the second barriers and that kind of stuff. But Dust Force, unlike games like GoldenEye, which is like all 1 second kind of stuff, Dust Force is more of like a half-second kind of threshold game. And DLC levels make for more of a quarter second at times when getting competitive. So, we're trying it out, seeing what fits. Idle and Dello, probably with kind of similar strats, same team, same as Arb. Alright, there's a different climb at the end. But Idle was already a bit ahead. Yeah, it seems like that falling side heavy gave some people trouble. It's easy to reverse it. Good run by Dello. But we're gonna save another half second. Looks like it's mostly going to be execution difference. But Dello keeping up with Arp. 15, or Fishy with the 19 even. Just enough for Red 2.
Oh, that jump is makes a lot of sense.
Big difference there. But it looks like Fishy's gonna lose time at the end.
Yeah, there were a lot of variations in that climb. They were like barely the same. Like they were within frames, which makes sense, of course. Like it's not a really long climb section.
Did you try the double light that the other team was doing?
On the two prisms?
Yeah, everyone on the everyone on CMP lovers did that double light, except for Camel, who did it the way you did it.
I had found the extra air charge to be more useful there,
But Camel did not help his team this week. Camel did not work on this, or Camel worked on this map, but did not bother playing it. Let's check out TAS. This one was just worth, right?
yes. Yep.
Staying on the ceiling a little. Alright, the ECS has come out. Nice little red 6.
Yeah.
That's a tough ledge cancel.
Yep.
I was trying that out too in testing. And I was like, this might be rough if people do it.
The one on the dust blocks or
The one below that. Well, the dust
Okay,
block
yeah,
one, some people were doing, I think. Mostly your team, I think I saw.
right, yeah.
Not an
Yeah, that-
RLJ though.
No,
Could have been
no,
harder.
I actually did try the RLJ. It's 1 frame slower than Sledge Cancel.
Just because of the setup time.
Yeah, because it turns out that like you hit the wall anyway, even if you're jumping to the right initially. So like it's just the 1 frame loss of the setup time.
Alright, we had a bit of a funny situation for the Apple SS here. Some of you may have noticed that you actually can super in this level, which wasn't intended. So we'll see 2 different versions of Apple SS. Here by Skyhawk we see the more intended looking one, the casual route, so to speak, where you gotta hit the apple a few times down this kind of dumb area. And then it falls out of there if you want to hit it again for fun. Which Skyhawk does. Couldn't resist.
There's a whole half of this map that I didn't even realize existed, and I don't know what to do with this information.
Oh,
Alright, gotta do
Cal,
2
you're right.
laps. But what if you didn't do it that way? And in discovering this inadvertently, get Cow excited enough to challenge you being Fishy in this case. And Cow's like, I bet I can come up with a cool way to do this. So it was discovered that you can super. We realized, hold on, we actually can super. I don't know the full story. I think I saw Fishy in chat earlier, but you know, he probably just realized it at some point. But against Cow's better judgment, he decided to challenge Fishy on this. And it has a funny setup for using the dead leg and then tap right and then left. And then it turns out you can reach the prism over there and the apple down here. It also turns out that there is a trigger that disables super, but it needs to be right there. But Cow sees Fishy sitting there with like a 28, 29 second run. He's like, you know what? I could just have a better Terra setup. And then I could do better than Fishy's 28. Cow challenges Fishy. Fishy's like, sure, I'll do this challenge. Immediately starts grinding the level as kid. Gets the hang of the level a little bit more. A little bit ahead of Cow. Slight execution diff. Slight routing diff. But Fishy with the YOLO. Something that I was bugging Cow about the whole time. What if Fishy just YOLOs it?
Classic.
I can't believe Cow poked at God and woke it up.
I didn't know what Fishy did, but I highly suspected it was a mix of he's just gonna have a better Kid SS and then he will just YOLO it. But he took his time going for it, you know, played it a little safe. Good job to Fishy though, earned those 10 points.
I do think Yeah, Fishy got this run while Cal was grinding, so this was
He sure
basically
did.
a pre-counter Bob. Right?
So Fishy gets this run, and I happened to be in the voice call with Cal, and Arb was there for some of it. I was kind of egging Cal on, like, hey, you gonna challenge Fishy? You got this potential time save. I'm just trying to incite challenges, and he did actually challenge Fishy, and then I was like, oh, looks like Fishy's playing. I see a Fishy replay on Duskid. And then I made a joke about Fishy's just gonna have a lead. Like, yeah, you're gonna finally get a run, and then Fishy's just gonna be 2 seconds ahead of you. And then that is actually what happened. By the time Cal finally finished his run, he finally got the Terra. Fishy's just there. He PB'd by 2.5 seconds. He's sitting 2 seconds ahead of Cal. So it's
Real Pokemon champion.
a very
blue
funny
energy,
reveal.
right?
Wonderful.
A difference of roughly 10 minutes between their PBs. And Cal, unfortunately for Fishy, had bigger fish to fry by beating a boss in the low dash SS for more points. Had to do the other challenge. Let's check out invert key. That's a little bit related to the Apple SS here. So Pacifist. This once got a week dedicated to it in DLC 2, week 3. We had a bunch of DLC 2 maps. I can just go over here. This is broken. Where are my arrows?
They don't exist. Oh no.
Okay, well, oh, probably because maybe Pacifist breaks it somehow. Anyway, so there were a bunch of Pacifist maps in the past. You'll just have to believe me. Past DLC doubters. So Pacifist, just get all the dust. That's all there is to it. The time was 20 seconds. I'm just verifying. 20 seconds. All right. How many people almost did it? Rodent. We'll watch the rodent run. And just feel for rodent a little bit. So if you hit a prism, you fail. So you got to be careful with your attacks sometimes. Especially over here. Now you might be thinking, but what if I dwarfed? And that's not a bad idea, honestly. And you could have dwarfed and still gotten within 20 seconds. But that's actually a null dwarf. I don't know if anyone looked into it. Time to do slant twirlies.
I think that came up while Cal was routing the
Yeah, I remember that too.
the apple. But yeah.
But it's pretty tough. Once you get the hang of it, you can do it. Mr. Simon just a little too slow. Oxy is just a little too slow. Not easy. I heard some people had some issues with it. CMP lovers, they had a pretty detailed routing session. I remember I think Aboss first brought it up in their channel and was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, either I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know how I could possibly save a second. My best chance is asking me to, you know, actually say that it was 21 seconds and not 20 seconds. Me lurking in their channel eventually chimes in. I don't remember how it went exactly. But they figured it out. They figured out the strats. It ended up being Fishy that put the final pieces together. The true routing champ. That was not on team routing. Which teams are which? A boss, not Jake. Not Jake is the highest one on CMP haters. But I like how a lot of the invert keys became part execution, part routing. Because if you only needed to do one of them, then you don't actually have to do that much work. But once you have good enough execution, it's a lot harder of a puzzle, and it's a lot more interesting. You gotta work at it. Be like, how do I save that? How do I save another 0.5? I think that's been very engaging this time around. That's been one of the more successful things about invert keys. Good to see people try to solve the problems, and they're not just like, I got it in 10 minutes. Some of that's fun too, but you know, some stuff like no air charge on Arb's map. I like the puzzles, and I know other people appreciate them too. Camel's intended strats did decide to do this one. Camel was the one that verified 20 seconds here. Missed the wall, or the ceiling run speed. But Fishy dominated. Fishy won every category this week on this level. Especially the ones that didn't matter for points. Time for some Minecraft. So Minecraft was very gimmicky on this level. I thought it was kind of funny. I hope people treated it in a more lighthearted manner.
Yeah, this one was really funny, honestly, for perhaps for the wrong reasons, but it definitely was funny.
Minecraft should affect this leaderboard, right?
It should, yeah. Oh, apparently I have Pacifist on?
Oh, maybe. Yep.
Thank you, Simon.
Alright, so it was just Minecraft any percent. Let's go watch last place. It's still pretty fast, but they're funny. Alright, Steel Echo, almost dodging the camera placed there specifically for Minecraft. But, you know, we're gonna have to do some funny climbing. And you're not gonna see it in any of these replays because, well, these are all successful replays, but these spikes are a little weird when it comes to you delete the tiles in Minecraft. Well, it turns out the spikes kind of stay around, and they affect more than just the tile that they were previously on. They affect like the tiles around them too. So you gotta be a little mindful of that and plan where you land a little bit. So I thought it was kind of funny. And you know, we'll kind of brute force the potential science behind it. Maybe teams will have to think about it a little bit. But it's just a nice little side category. Not too important, but people can enjoy it. Get a little frame grind in there. You can see a rhythm to some of these. pretty consistent way to climb up there in 10 seconds. But we're gonna save more time. We had a challenge here between Not Jake and Avenged. They ended up grinding this quite a bit. I don't remember seeing Avenged play it much until today, probably, maybe yesterday. This one kind of flew under the radar, challenge-wise, to me. But Fishy helping Avenged for the route stuff.
Yeah, there was some activity that we saw during the last hour or so from Avenged. Maybe it wasn't the last hour, but it was today, at least.
Yeah. Looks like he got caught a few times on ledges and ceilings. Not enough time for a very clean run. Almost got the sneak attack.
Almost.
But because of that weird pattern of open pathways where you're doing your Minecraft stuff, you can save a few attacks. And that sometimes saves time. Fishy making some use of that. Oh, good wall jump at the end. We should have tasked that one.
Yeah, I could have. I didn't though.
That'd be
This one
weird.
was actually just entire. This one was just entirely on Najee. Actually, I had like no part in this basically.
Yeah, that one was for him.
I remember the night before you're like rubbing your hands menacingly in our VC, going, "Oh, Jake, I got a challenge for you. You're gonna have to find your opponent, but I got one."
Yeah, I was trying to think of possible challenges to propose. And then that one was just one that made sense. Pipe wrench, the Uckies world record of the week.
Yo, let's go.
Map made by Alex. Let's start with Alex's plugin rope dart. I heard this started kind of difficult. People started to think it was going to be one of the hard ones, but also ended up being one of the more fun ones from a lot of people.
Honestly, I love this
We
one.
have rope dart on some other levels too. Alright.
Huh.
We got a few rope dart replays across the levels. Fishy with an SS. And Fishy with the world record for the invert key. For the invert key, it was 12.5 for rope dart here. Maybe Alex will show up with the sneaky 12.0 that he claims to have gotten when figuring out a good time for this. So Alex is the secret boss at 12.0. That was almost the invert key, and we decided we'll roll it back a little bit.
Jake is saying don't laugh, so it means we have to explicitly watch his.
Yeah. Alright, so rope dart, for those unaware, when you hit the taunt button, you grab a wall with your rope that you throw out there, and then it brings you along. And it's a little unwieldy when you're not used to it, but Goose showing some of the ways to use it to get a jump back, and some of the ways to use it and drag yourself into spikes. You know, this is just the kind of thing that rope dart is all about. So
And
it's
yet
kind of
again,
interesting.
we somehow see Boost into spikes worm its way into the map.
Yep. No one laugh.
Again.
This is Jake's replay.
Oh, good.
Alright, we see some strats. Alright, that wasn't that funny. I don't know.
Jake, you could have been more entertaining,
Yeah.
man.
There was an attempt. That's all.
Simon
that's all
just
that-
missing out.
We're more disappointed than anything.
I've been wanting to put Rope Dart on a DLC map for a while, for a side leaderboard or something. And it's nice to finally have invert keys. Hey boss, showing how it's done.
That's the spirit.
Taunt jump, taunt jump.
Well, Jake, maybe if you didn't do rope dart on other levels this week, you could have figured out that climb.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't actually know that you could down dash out of the rope, so it's good to know. I haven't played this much. I let Alex do the invert on this one.
You are on best score, by the way. For the, yep.
Yeah. All the jumps. You can barely hear the sound effect for jumping.
God, I love that. That whip rope at that.
It's almost like I'm hearing the keys being pressed.
Yep. That's it.
Alright, let's check out the SS. Probably not too rope darty. Might have been a mistake. Accidentally left the plugin on.
It just goes to show you. Grapple games are good.
Probably left the plugin on, forgot about it.
You know, that's fair.
It's hard to notice when you don't press taunt normally.
That's true, exactly.
Okay. Take off rope dart. Slight spoilers for some strats. Yeah, maybe could have sped it up a little, but didn't matter too much. That's only around here though. What do we got? So we have 7 people in the reds. That was 16.75 into pop 1 frame out. 18.5 was gold. JVC was 1 frame off gold. She mostly worths 18.5 also 17.7. And Sheila's on there too.
Yeah, it turns out Worth is pretty good at interacting with ceilings.
Let's check out these other runs first.
You didn't need the interacting with ceilings part. He's just good.
Yeah, you know, that's fair.
Also a reminder to people, vote on your maps of the week. Oops. Check out the man record before moving on to Worth. We ended up doing quite a few different things with the texture script across the week 2 levels. Got to play around with it quite a bit.
I love the effect on this one, actually.
I'm noticing on the stream every time it heavies and hits something, the maze pattern becomes more pronounced.
Yeah, it might look a little weird on stream with bitrate and all that, but that is what happens. When you heavy something, the pattern in the background gets kind of dark. You know, emphasizes it. Cool effect. I was looking at the wrong list. Alright, let's check out top 10. Cal in 10th place. Alright, we see the big one heavy. And Pop taking the ceiling the whole way, getting a big boost. But needed one frame better for red key. We have a pretty even distribution of both teams on this level. Quite a mix of different people in the top 10 here. Test with the red 2. I think this was one of the levels that Indipop started off really high on. Maybe he had the record for a little bit. There were a couple levels I think that applied to.
I believe so. I think that is actually the case, yes.
Some people doing one light on everything there, some people doing 2 lights. I think I've seen everybody do the same start. But with a level where replays are visible like this one, there's a lot more similarities.
Right, yeah.
Alright, and the pop was just close, but didn't have it. Fishy keeping that boost the whole way. That was something I remember thinking about when we were pretty late in development for the map. I was thinking it was going to end up being a pretty fast thing to do, but I use the ceiling boost.
It's very comparable. Either way. I think, yeah, I think in analysis it was like keeping the boost along the ceiling was like legit a frame faster if all the ATBs were perfect.
A little bit faster of a ledge cancel there. 15.3. Yeah, just a little bit ahead of the other red.
That's what, like a red 7 maybe? Red 6?
Red 6. What else do we have? That one was, that's it for that level. We started with the invert key on that one. Alright, Equilove. The CMP sequel. Famed holder of Atlas ID number 12345. We knew it was going to
let's
happen
go.
to one of these maps. The question was which. Ended up being a week 2 team map.
Yeah, Idle a bit too enthusiastic with the upload time.
This one was Issa's.
No, I mean like Idle got it out earlier, so missed out on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think
No, it
Or was
was
it the
it
other
was
way around?
after.
Okay,
yeah, your
never
map
mind
was
what I saying
second.
then.
Yours was
I am
6.
Yeah, I am just incorrect then. Never mind what I'm saying.
Because I know we were in a call finalizing it, and
Yeah.
Xanda said that they had gotten it first and gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I was in the other team's voice channel for a while and making sure that they got it. And then I went to your channel.
Yeah, your kid top 10 did not die in vain though, Tess. Thank you for the route. That was actually pretty pivotal.
Yep. We had a challenge here between Tess and Game Duck. They had 45 minutes to play Kid SS. I didn't hear the rules about Kid, but they ended up playing Kid either way. And Duck was the one that won the challenge within 45 minutes, and then Tess later decided to play for a better run. Yeah, I really like those kinds of challenges and want to see that kind of stuff more, personally. So I didn't really mind that it happened to be the final day. Usually, you know, with challenges, I want people to kind of make up their mind a little earlier, so that, you know, if I'm not around for very long, or someone isn't allowed to around to witness it or something, or confirm that both parties are agreeing to it, you know, just gotta make sure we do it before the final day. But it was fine. You know, it worked out. Let's see. So red here was 6.5. We had 8 people get that. Mostly on CMP lovers. The haters had a little bit more trouble figuring this route out, but Uckies did get second. We got plenty of golds, plenty of silvers. A lot of people played the level. Good to see. Camel with the PB. Getting the invert key. Invert key was any percent. That's a quick and easy one to show off. So let's just start with that one, I guess. So invert key, you gotta beat the level in 4 seconds. Avenged Ruler with the 4 seconds flat. Does the route that I expected.
Hell yeah.
Camel did a different route when he went for sub 4. We'll watch a few of these, and I'm sure someone else does a different route. They are quick. But just an invert key. A nice easy one. There wasn't too much inspiration on any kinds of plugins or anything, so I put down on the sheet something like I put any percent 3 seconds without playing it, and I was like, maybe we could do this.
3 seconds is
yeah, I put 3 seconds
bold.
like kind of early, just partially as a joke. I didn't know how low it was gonna be, Like we already knew it was gonna be like 6.2 and lower for record, and I had a different strat on top of what was shown to me. So I was thinking like, yeah, sub 6 for the record. What could the any percent be? I don't know, 3 seconds is fine. We tried it a little bit. I was thinking 3.5 or 4, and then we decided, yeah, we'll make it 4, a little bit more reasonable. And I'm glad I made it 4. That way more people would go for it. And this ended up being a big driving factor for CMP lovers to try to take the win at the end of the week. With 15 minutes left to go, they were grinding this level, any percent. We see a lot of, we see Glass, Foxy, I Heart Cake, Camel, Avenged, A-Boss, Wazzy, Big Diesel, Fishy, all from CMP lovers. The bottom 5 all from CMP lovers, getting it probably within the last hour or so. That was a big swing.
We were playing.
Yeah. That did let them take the lead.
I realized I probably wasn't gonna win my Minecraft challenge and needed something else to grind.
Well, it looks like everybody decided on this route. I'll watch Camels. He might do the other route. I think I didn't watch that. I told Camel to do this route, not the one that... Okay, yeah, Camel did the other way. He went up first. I was like, why are you doing that? You start next to Prisms. Let's check the top 2.
God, I'm surprised you can sub 4 going up first. That's insane.
Alright, Fishy just walking off at the start. Clean run. Let's see those kid runs. I have the replays.
Finally, some garbage child content.
I think Dux is the same as his PB. Yeah. Alright. Here's the kid replay.
Oh,
We saw a lot of
I never
routes
thought to do that.
show up, which was good to see. I didn't think there was going to be as much diversity in routing as what people ended up doing. Here's Duck's PB after 45 minutes. That was Tess's PB.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting anybody to play Kid and take the zips.
Yeah. Tess kept going though. Got the sub 7. How are man and girl? 8.3, 5.9. We'll switch it. We'll do it by character. Kind of zigzag through the times. We saw a lot of counterclockwise action. Epon had a good run early. Glass also did a lot of work on the level. Alright. I like the ending. The ending was something that I remember showing Camel.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was very glad the ending got changed a little bit from what it was when we first showed it.
This went through a lot of revisions.
I remember opening the map and being like, oh, this is new.
Yeah. It just kept changing. At a point, I was just like, we're gonna have to, you know, settle on something. Are you sure you want to make more big changes? It worked out.
Yeah, no, I think this map actually plays pretty well.
Alright, let's switch to a different character. I Heart Cake. We'll see what I Heart Cake did. Some similarities. Here's a different one.
The heck?
This was an older route from
Yeah, this
their
one's on
team.
me.
Yeah, ARB stunted the,
Looks like-
the development of their routes by choosing that one.
Yep.
But at some point, I think today you guys figured out the other way to go, right?
Yeah, after watching Tessa's kid run, I was like, wait, that ending just works, right? So then I ended up adapting stuff to Worth, and then, you know, that's what this run is.
Almost sub 6.
Yep.
Just need a little bit
Coulda
of
done it,
execution.
Yeah, could have done it, I just didn't have the time or willingness to. Luckily, Uggy's got it.
Yep. He's on the same team, able to do it. But Fishy a little bit lower on the leaderboard. 3 seconds lower.
As the fishy does.
Looking very similar to Fishy's original route before certain changes. Do you only have a Worth run here, Arb?
Yeah, this test was made in the last like 30 minutes of the week.
Yeah.
so-
Had to change some things.
Yep.
All right. Somehow a half a second faster. The final level, Diamond C. I think we'll start by watching this normally. That way you can understand what's gonna come later.
Right.
This has the distinction of being the broom level, and also surprisingly the most commonly earned invert key so far in DLC. So more people have played this invert than any other invert so far. The broom plugin SS. So I'm sure J-Dude would be thrilled to hear that.
Originally, the pitch was for like 60 seconds, wasn't it? And then we were like, no, that's too much.
Yeah,
too free.
I wanted to make
Honestly,
it
30.
a little bit, just a little bit open-ended. Really easy still.
Honestly, 30 was probably still too easy.
Yeah, try to
Yeah, I think
encourage
you're gonna
people
take
into
it
Broom.
At least down
know.
to.
Let's see people play it a little normally first. That way
Right, yeah.
you can be more confused later.
Yeah, 20 probably would have been fine idle, but you know, who knows?
I think
It's
at
re-
least 25. I think 20 might have been a bit hard, but
I mean, for something like this, it's kind of hard to predict, right? Because it is pretty wildly different than what people are used to.
then again, I did get a 22 without on my first run of it, so maybe 20 would have been fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been fine. We'll check out the times later. Red here was 9.25, which was considerably lower than the PB of Team CMP haters when they gave it to me. And then Camel was like, I'm getting like a 9.1 in a few minutes. And then I was also thinking that this was gonna go sub 9.
Yeah, I had missed a pretty big strat in testing. Once again, my fault.
So this ended up being a little harder of a red key as a result, just because one of the teams didn't actually know the strats for it going in, and they happened to make it. So let's see. 10.25 is gold 1. We got Duck with the girl run. So pretty expected kind of strats, not doing anything fancy at the start. I think Idol's got an AS. Actually, Tess is 9.3 there. I'm just gonna look at Man Girl for a bit, and then we'll switch to Worth. I was thinking this was gonna be a man level. But everybody, they caught the Worth train.
Again, we're just sheep.
Yep.
It is extremely close, I will say, between the two. I guess between the three, like the girl wouldn't be drastically different than here.
Unfortunately, no
Idle
sub
man
9s to
great.
show off as man. Right. Yeah. But there are, there's some optimizations that Worth does that man does have access to. Such as not zigzagging in that climb. Worth has an easier time handling that climb on the right side. So I'm sure that's why Worth took hold.
Yeah, I mean, Worth's probably easier here. I'm not sure that can be.
Yeah.
Could probably be debated, but
I think it's fair to say that for certain things like this level.
okay.
Into pop on no team, getting no help, but having record here for a bit. This level also does the flashy yellow for the end prisms. That only happens when you hit heavy prisms. And those being the only prisms like that, a cool effect for the ending. Idol also was the only person to choose a different texture than the maze. That was the default one from the sample. All 4 pre-made maps just happened to use the same texture. Equilove happened to use the same texture. This map, we're changing it up. There were 3 of them that were provided with the texture. good job to everybody here. Check out Fishies one more time. Does this one just have Worth, or did you end up doing the man one too?
Yeah, it's man and wood. Yep.
Okay. So we do have a man replay to watch. But first, Worth. Just a backlight.
That's all you need in life sometimes.
Yep. Nothing too fancy there.
What was the time on the Worth one?
It's 1 frame faster than
One
this.
frame, right?
And I mean, you know, it could definitely go either way. I can't imagine either of these are particularly grinded down for optimization.
Yeah, no
Where's the
kid test
though.
It's too bad.
So it's floating out in the void somewhere.
Next week.
I'm gonna turn off ghosts, but we'll see what ghosts do on in Broom.
Don't do it.
Don't do
It's
it.
gonna break the game, man.
I do wonder what happens. There's no way that works, right?
I don't see a way how it does. Can
Alright,
you render ghosts in this?
I'm not gonna explain Broom very much. I'm gonna turn off ghosts briefly, but it's first person kinda. Let's watch a slower run.
Let's watch a slow
So
one. Hovers
blue
over
equals tiles, green equals dust. Those pink things are entities. That's an apple.
Glass getting the apple.
Glass
Got 'em.
needed the apple, turns out. They have to keep combo.
Oh,
A little weird. No, this is a little strange. But we convinced 15 people to do it, so
success.
yeah, that worked out. I'll watch events run. Alright, starting off easy. Going for consistent blindfold worthy strats. Arb was making a joke a while ago. Maybe when he does Broom, he'll just close his eyes.
It's certainly a way to play Broom.
Can't possibly see how that goes wrong.
Yep, Duck almost beat his normal time. I remember seeing so we saw Duck's PB already. But we're gonna see it with the exact same row.
Oh, that's funny. Duck the Broom Master. So I guess on this map it was Steel Echo.
Yeah, Steel Echo grinded this for quite a bit.
Have we checked in on them since? Are they okay?
Steel Echo in chat?
I think that's always a good question for Steel Echo. They grind some things.
Ah, no Pogo, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Steel
I have-
Echo confirmed alive.
Nice. Kind of fun. Well, I have good news for you, Duck. We'll be opening up challenges to weird rules again, following this break week. So, again, just to reiterate, I'm gonna re-announce it in the Discord. We are gonna have a break week. I'm not revealing week 3 teams yet. But you can do Broom Pogo yet again, but you'll have to track your PBs like previous times. And here's Duck's replay. Spot the similarities between his normal PB and this. It's basically the same. Cow with a 10.5.
Ah, too fast. Don't like it.
Losing
I
it a
can't
little
tell
at
if
the
they're
end.
doing. I can't tell if they're doing the reverse alcove or not. Honestly.
Yeah. Steel Echo with the record though, with a gold 2 worthy time. And gold 2 worthy lag on the level.
It is definitely a reverse alcove. That's moving way too fast for a regular
Yeah.
Combos.
So now we turn on ghosts, right? We crash the game.
Oh yeah, I had ghosts off. The thing is, you'd see behind you. So let's watch ducks. No, I don't see anything ghost related.
It's not. Yeah.
Oh, boo. Ghosts can't be rendered in 3D.
There might, there might be something going on, but probably not. I am being inadvertently nice to the Hackathon players. So there is going to be break week. I'm going to reiterate it a few times.
While you're reading that, you might want to post the whatchamacallit again. Yeah,
The form. Up enter.
that's the one.
Everybody fill out the form. You've seen all the maps. You've seen one of them in Broom now. And in case you forgot what it looks like when it's not Broom, let me show you Game Ducks replay one more time. And these are his Broom ghosts. Well, not his ghosts, but losing
Well, they actually-
to Steel Echo's ghosts. Allowance
Feel like
cow
I'm
actually.
ass in 3D. My God,
Wonderful.
never stood a chance.
God damn.
Yeah, so
You can go-
you could watch the Broom ghost and then take Broom off and then watch the ghosts.
Could Steel Echo be the first person to do a full game room run?
Lord.
I don't want to wish that upon my worst enemy.
That's cool to see. Summary. That's all the categories. Like I said, it's break week. This is where I would normally tease week 3, but I'll do that on Saturday. So let me check some things. Everybody please fill out this form if you haven't yet. Vote for your favorite maps of the week. We got 15 responses. So I think we can get a few more.
All right.
So it was a good week. Definitely a spike in difficulty.
Yeah. I hope people like the maps. Week 3, I guess expect a little more of the same.
I'll be sure not to challenge Bennett next time.
Alright, flashbang out.
Ah, my eyes.
We have our week 2 map poll. I got 15 responses. Now I have 16 responses. Mostly haters coming in for the hating. But it turns out that they tend to prefer Equilove, perhaps. So, a preferred team map, slightly. Rate the map gameplay. We got some colorful responses. Good amount of 5s coming out.
No ones. Good.
Yep. People like Electro Tangle. I really didn't hear that much about Electro Tangle this week compared to the other ones, so I guess I'm a little surprised about that.
Yeah.
Quietly enjoying something.
Best aesthetic was all over the place. We have one fan of Equilove for aesthetic. Simon with the original aesthetic sample. Getting the highest, but a good little divide. We had a lot of different styles with the same aesthetic. So it's pretty cool to see. Favorite invert key? This time only 3 for the didn't play for inverts, I guess. We got Broom fans. People like a little of everything.
I actually tried one, so I had a response this time.
We did have a DLC map difficulty spike, but this time it was week 2. Issa hates slant boosts. Broom too easy. And then a very eloquent response from whoever did that one.
The maps evoke a transcendent quintessence, bespeaking a meritorious craftsmanship that eclipses mundane conventions. Truly.
Must have been yours.
I did not. I put the classic
okay.
DLC spike.
Oh, okay. Still 16. Alright, well, more fun stats later. We have our leaderboard and all that. What now? It's gonna be break week. So I'm going to come up with something. I have something in mind for break week, just something to tide people over. We'll come up with something. I'll announce it on Tuesday. But break week will be, just take a break. Go post a plup emoji in the Discord. Especially react with the plup emoji when I post that announcement. Week 3 starts on Saturday, so you'll get to join your teams a day early again, which will be very helpful because that extra day will help for making maps compared to Sunday, starting on Sunday.